Now, welcome to yet another video. Cultural traditions are an essential part of human identity, offering a sense of belonging, continuity, and connection to the past. Now, on today's special episode, we choose to dive onto the different cultural practices of different communities all over the world. Despite the rapid modernization and globalization to the world, many communities continue to uphold age-old customs, some of which may sound weird and unusual or even shocking to the outsiders. These practices often stem from deeply rooted beliefs and spiritual significance and a desire to preserve heritage. Now, one to the Philippines, and one of the most weird or unusual tradition that I found was the hanging of coffins of Sagada in the Philippines. This is a unique tradition practiced by the Igoroti people for over 2,000 years. So for 2,000 years, these people have been practicing this certain tradition. And this is whereby they hang the coffins on a cliff of a mountain. Coffins are hanging on a mountain. Located in the mountain provincial of Luzon, the tradition suspended wooden coffins on cliffs of caves, the wild animals and grave robbers away. It's only the respected communities or community members that were indulged in this, like those people who are respected, that is the chiefs, elders. Those were the respected members of the community, and these were the only community members who got their coffins hanged on top of a cliff. So you find that the people who had died hanging over a mountain to protect them from robbers, or that is grave robbers or wild animals. So their bodies had to be placed in a vital position, and how the body was positioned. So the community members entirely positioned the body in the coffins in a way that promoted an afterlife. This meant that, for example, if the body was standing, they can walk, like they can continue their life even after they've died. Now, even as the tradition continues to fade with time, tourists who visit the Sagada people in the Philippines are given a tour into the mountains to see the hanging graves. Now, another tradition that I found unusual, Toraja region of Sulawesi, Indonesia, has the tradition of living with the deceased family members. The community members or the community lives with the deceased as if they are alive. The family members reflect their unique perspective in death. The Torajans believe that the person is not truly dead until a ceremony has been performed. And the ceremony is called the Rambusolo until a water buffalo has been sacrificed. Waiting for the funeral, which may be delayed for years, to allow the families time to gather for the required resources for the ceremony. The deceased is believed to not be really sick, but he or she is deferred to be sick in the meantime. So they live with this person as if he's alive. He is injected with a preservative called formalin, which is used to preserve dead bodies from decomposing. Families often keep this deceased in a secluded room, that is in a room of their own, and there is a bowl that serves as a toilet. This thus believe that this person does everything as though he's alive, including being given cigarette. For me, this is pretty interesting if you ask me. So family members often keep the bodies in specially designated rooms where they can regularly be watched and dressed. The number of buffaloes sacrificed depends on the family status. The funeral burial often includes the body being placed in specific tombs to signify an afterlife. And last but not least, the Dani tribe of Papua, Indonesia practices a ritual involving the amputation of fingers as a way of expressing grief, honoring deceased loved ones. This tradition, called ikipalin, is predominantly observed by women. When a family member dies, a close female relative may have one of her fingers cut off to symbolize the pain and loss of deceased. The procedure involves knotting the finger with a string before cutting it with a blade or other sharp object. The wound is then cauterized to prevent excessive bleeding. Each amputated finger represents a loved one who has passed, reflecting the deep bond between the individual and their family. Dani people believe this practice appeases the spirits of the dead and ensures harmony between the living and the spiritual realm.